Hi, my name is Monte Tilgner with the Iowa High School Athletic Association. This will be the first of our in-season training videos for the Iowa High School officials. This will be 13 plays that were in week number 1 this past week. So let's go ahead and get started. First of all, we got a couple kick plays. This was handled excellently by the crew. So it's important that we know the difference between a pooch kick and a pop-up kick. So remember, a pooch kick is legal and a pop-up kick is dead as soon as that ball gets above the kicker's head. And that is a 5-yard dead ball penalty and a re-kick. So it's important that we see that ball, if that ball gets pooched up in the air, they scoop under it and pooch it up in the air. Or if they kick down on top of the ball, drive it down into the ground for that one bounce up. That's the pop-up. And the umpire can really help out a lot on knowing if it's a pooch or a pop-up. The back judge is focused on that line and making sure no one breaks that pane of glass. So umpire, you can help. The back judge can also be involved in it, but umpire, feel free to help, and you can shut that down as well, especially if you see the pop-up, because you might have a better view of that action. So let's take a look at this one here. And we definitely have him going underneath this ball. So back judges, we need to think of every kick as, does anyone break the pane of glass? And if they do, but they're barely breaking it, then if that ball is kicked deep, we do not need to shut that down for a dead ball, offside, or encroachment on the kicking team. But if that ball is a pooch kick or a squib kick, then we would want to shut that down. Now, if the core of that player's body is all the way, breaking that pane of glass, then we want to shut that down, whether it's a deep kick or a short kick. But we're going to give them a little more grace on a deep kick because it really isn't as important if they barely break that pane of glass. But this is why the back judge needs to be straddling that line. You need to be looking right down that line. It's really close for these two players. I can't tell. I'm not looking down that line. Only he would have that judgment. But this is a pooch, goes up in the air. And we have, on a pooch kick, remember, by rule, even if no one is in position to catch this ball or attempt to catch it by Team R, Team K cannot touch that or try to receive that before that ball hits the ground. Even if there's no one in the area, that's the high school rule. That's catch interference, even if there's no one in the area. In this case, R does have an unimpeded opportunity to catch it. He musts it. That ball is now live and can be recovered by either team. So do a nice job here. Kill that clock. And we're doing a good job of pointing that the kicking team recovered it legally. And since the ball was touched and recovered, we need at least 1 second to come off the clock. You can see that we had 3. I don't know that anyone wound the clock, but the clock operator did take 3 seconds off. So that's the most important thing, is that we know that we have time that has to come off. All right, the next one here, we have a very good job, just excellent mechanics by this crew. So you can see, first of all, our umpire is diagonally in from the 50 in 5 yards where we want him to be. And you can see our back judge is going to come into the screen in just a second here, and he will be at that spot where we want him to be as well. And just a reminder here, we want our H and our L to be 10 yards behind the return man when he catches the ball. So he's making his catch at about the 14. So we would want you guys still at the 5-yard line. We're even with him. We want you to be about 10 yards behind him and then trail that play. You can see now, good job of winding the clock by our H and trailing the play. And now you can see our back judge is now, we'd like to get him to the 50, but he's getting in there about 6-7 yards, getting to the hash. That's great. Great movement by our umpire. And a really good call here by our back judge for an illegal block in the back. This player right here is in chase mode. And so any contact in the back will be a foul. And he's looking right where he should be. And let's just take a look. We go in slow motion here. You can see chase mode. Boom. There's our contact in the back right there. So now we need to continue to officiate this play. That foul occurs at about the 33-yard line. Our flag usually will not get that far. So our flag is at the 40 and the foul occurred at the 33. So we need to, let's talk about our announcement, how we report this to the crew when we're done. We're killing the clock, funny whistle, let everyone know we got a foul. And then we're going to want to say during the return, because that tells everyone that we have a running play, just like a handoff. And that means that if we talk basic penalty enforcement, the end of the run is the basic spot on a running play with no line of scrimmage in this case. And the foul is by the team of possession behind the basic spot. So we're going to enforce this from the spot of the foul. So we would need to move our flag from that 39-ish yard line down to the 33. And we would enforce it 10 yards from the 33 back to the 23, snap from position 5. So your announcement would be during the return, block in the back, return team number 30, and we're going to enforce that 10 yards from the spot of the foul, and I am moving my flag. That lets everybody know what we have. Handled very well by the crew. This is, again, excellent goal line mechanics. Remember, goal line mechanics start at the 10. This one's at the 3. So immediately at the snap from the 10 and in, we are going to get to that goal line. We want to be there before that runner gets there. So if we look immediately, we're already at the goal line. We're deep, which is what we want to be as well. This is a 7-man crew. So good positioning here by our, this would be our side judge. Now, back judge, remember, always in the middle of the field. We want you right in the middle here, standing right here, observing the action. Don't move with the formation. Just plant yourself in the middle. But good movement by our short wings here. And now he comes back and he squares it off. We don't need to be, running in, square. This is good. He's coming back. He's going to square this off and come in. Perfect. Great job by the crew. Punt play mechanics, guidelines for illegal block in the back fouls, chase mode versus non-chase mode. This is a really good play that that I found, and thanks to crews who sent them in, thanks to coaches who sent them in, and a few that we picked up, Jared or I picked up, just scouting around. So remember, our new umpire mechanic, after the kick, find a safe zone, step up towards that, even all the way up to line of scrimmage. And you'll be safer. Those players will be going slower as they move past you. And also then you can pivot sooner and see blocks by the second, third wave players in the middle of the field. So we'll take a look at this by our umpire. You can step up even further right now. If he would step up, already have been stepping up, he could be here and he could turn and pivot, and then he could watch action by all of these players right in here. We need we should be going hard down the line here with our headline judge. We kind of just stay right about there. We want to be going hard down the line, and we need our eyes to be on that first set of blocks on our half the field, which we got to be able to realize that our line judge is going to be on these 2 blocks, so that means you'd be picking up this one. As we continue here, the back judge, remember, you are watching nothing but for a fair catch signal by that return man until that ball is possessed. Once that ball is possessed, either picked up or caught in the air or on a bounce or whatever, now you can go to blocks. So in this case, he's still picking up this ball. Our back judge would not be on any blocks yet. He would be watching possession. Right now, the back judge, this guy is now a runner. So the back judge could transition. You'd want to transition to the first block that's at the point of attack, which would be this one here. And this is a hold. He throws the player down to the ground. The back judge, it'd be a quick transition, but I think you could get it. The L coming down the field. Good job of hustling down the field here. This is chase mode. He's behind him, so any contact in the back is a foul. We don't need to be right in square in the middle of the numbers if they're in chase mode. If they're in chase mode, the back shoulder contact would be a foul. The back hip contact would be a foul. Anything in the back is a foul if they're in chase mode, which this is. Okay, so we could have either of those two fouls. Again, noticing our H, you should be down here. You should be down here at least at 50-yard line by now. All right, we are kind of holding there. We need you to get downfield so you can help out on watching blocks and cover the return man. Okay, so let's talk now about penalty enforcement and what we'd have with these two fouls. So if we go back, these two fouls occur when the return man has picked up the ball. So again, you would start out this announcement to the crew during the return, holding return team number 3. We're going to enforce that 10-yard penalty from the spot of my foul, and either my flag is good or I'm moving my flag. Because we have a running play, and this foul occurs at the 49, this foul 48 maybe. This foul occurs at the 46. Our run is already beyond that, so we know we're going to enforce it from the spot of the foul. So that's how we want to make that announcement to our crew. Okay, this is a really interesting play, and this is not a foul for illegal participation. So we're going to have a guy come off the bench here, but there's only 10 players on the field, and this guy comes off the field or off from the bench area into the field of play before the snap. So he's in the field of play before the snap, and he's on his own side of the line of scrimmage. So we have no foul here for illegal participation. If this player would have come onto the field after the snap, we would have illegal participation. And talking about penalty enforcement, this illegal participation by the return team is a foul that is during the kick and does meet all our post-scrimmage kick, aka PSK foul guidelines. So this would be a PSK foul. So let's see here. You can see here he comes running in. This is the 11th player. He's on the field. They have not snapped the ball. This would not be a foul at all. And you can see here comes our flag by our back judge. He has it for illegal participation. So just making sure that we know this was not the 12th player, the 11th. He was on the field before the snap. We do not have a foul. Excellent positioning by this back judge right now. He's in great position, and he goes to that goal line and just stays right there. That's exactly where we want him. And at this point, now that he has possession, he can toss that bag up to the 6 or 7 yard line, wherever he feels that ball was possessed. Excellent position. That's what we want. Is we want this angle so we can see if that guy gets into him too much for kick catch interference or not, which he does not in this case. But just understanding the illegal participation rule and PSK. Eyes where they need to be so we do not miss a DPI. All right, so on this play, again, just looking at initial keys, we've got a double-double. So we're going to have our strength to our line judge's side. Our back judge is going to have the outside guy. Our line judge would have the inside receiver. We know that our H has both the guys at the top of the screen, which he often will anytime we have a balanced formation. And if we just go forward here, you can see there's going to be contact here, and this player is cutting and coming back out. And so this defender is far enough away from him that I think an excellent job by our line judge here. We can see that he's looking in at this action, and this technically is his man, but he is free of foul. So I think that he could maybe be looking through and pick up on this. Our back judge, this is your key, and this is one that we would want you to pick up. So let's just go forward and watch this action here. Number 6 is coming across the middle to try to make a play on the ball. And there's our contact. The ball's in the air. So we do have this as pass interference. We're not going to split hairs on if that ball is in the air or not. Okay, it's technically not, but that we're not going to call it that close. That's going to be DPI. And of course, what happens? He isn't able to get close to that ball, and we have an interception. So just one to think about there as far as mechanics and making sure that we see those pass interference and officiate, find another area to help out in when your player is free of foul on pass plays. Okay, remember, third down flow is our catchphrase. We're at the 14-yard line, and I'm sorry, our line to gain is the 14-yard line. So if we got to that line to gain, we would have a better view to see if this is targeting or not. So let's just go forward quickly and see this here. And here's what we got. You could argue targeting. You could argue this contact is with the shoulder. I think it might be more with the shoulder. He's definitely not attacking with the helmet. So I think not targeting is a better call. But remember, if in doubt, we do want to call targeting. But most important thing to remember is that just because we have targeting, we do not have to eject. This would not be one, if you call targeting, that we would eject. In order to eject a player, we don't just want a big hit. We want a launch, or we want one where you see it and you're like, that's vicious, that's a cheap shot. Only on those type of things do we want to eject. And then again, if we had released and got to that line to gain, and now we're looking back, we would have this perfect view to have a better opinion on this as being targeting or not. And you can see our line of scrimmage official does get up to that line of gain, but very much late, and he's moving very quickly when this contact occurs. And when you're moving quickly, you can't see it as well. All right, next one. So here's our new umpire mechanic, and pretty good job by this umpire here. I think he could have stepped up maybe even another yard, and we got to be careful that we make sure that second, third wave passes us before we pivot. But if you try, umpires, if you try this mechanic, you're going to like it. I guarantee it. So what the mechanic is, remember, is we're going to have you starting close to the line of scrimmage as you can. Since there's no linebackers, you could start right up here, just 3 yards back off that line of scrimmage. And then after that snap occurs, like this umpire does, just step up and find a safe area. I would like him to step up maybe a yard, maybe even 2 more, and then wait for these players. We pivot just a little too quickly, but we got the right idea. We're doing the right thing here as far as getting back and pivoting, but we probably want to make sure that we get this guy behind us too. So if we took another step or 2 forward and we're standing right here, then in a split second after this guy goes, we could turn and we could have all these guys. But you're going to be able to see things much better, and you're going to be a lot safer, not have those guys flying past you if you're 10, 12 yards downfield, and you can watch that second, third wave. All right, this is an excellent call for ineligible player downfield. Remember, that's called IDP. So what enforcement do we have, and what do we do with this foul on this particular play? So remember, umpires in a 5-man crew, you're primary on IDP. So we want you to, the good initial positioning is excellent by this umpire. He's opposite the referee a little bit. He's, a yard or 2 behind that linebacker. He's got a vision of the ball, which is what we want. And now what he does is he reads pass and he steps up. And this is excellent. He steps up to about 2.5, 3 yards. If you want to step up to 3, if you want to step up to 3.5 to 4, and just know where you're at, that's great. He stepped up to about 2.5 yards, and he does after this. This is our critical point. When this ball is released is the very instant we need to know if anyone was beyond our, and we want it to be a healthy 2, so probably a good 3 yards. In this case, this guy's front foot is at 4, back foot is at 3, definitely well beyond 2. And our umpire standing at 2.5. He sees it, and watch, he does a quick check back to see if he's correct and that he's beyond that line, beyond that previous spot. Turns around quick. That I'm totally good with that to make sure. And then he comes back, and there goes his flag. Okay, now, yeah, did that just happen? This is crazy. So let's go back and look at what happened on this. So, oops, sorry. This ball gets tipped by the receiver, then goes behind him, gets kicked in the air by his own foot, and that's obviously an unintentional kick, so not illegal kicking. And the ball pops up in the air, and the defense intercepts it. So kind of crazy, But we got to talk about what we're going to do with this penalty now, because we do have IDP, but we have an interception. So the only way that Team B is going to get that ball is if they decline that penalty. So in this case, we need to have that conversation, and we say I've got an ineligible player downfield. On the offense, that penalty is going to be declined, and the ball is going to be turned over to the defensive team. But excellent work by the crew in this case. I think I skipped. No, I didn't. Okay, so let's see what we got on this one. Oh yeah, illegal blindside blocks, much more common after change of possession or change of direction play, like a reverse or something like that. In this case, we're going to have an interception, and we have to be thinking of those guys who are going the wrong way. We got to open up our vision. We got to see these, because this kid ends up getting knocked out of the game on this hit. And this is the guy peeling back right here. Who could see it? I think referee is primary on this. Open up that vision. You're like the back judge. You got to see this guy going back towards his own goal line. He's got the brick in his hand. Umpire, I think you could be looking. Open up your vision. You don't need to be watching this. You do not have forward progress. There's really not any blockers out in front here, so you might catch a glimpse. The short wing, you've got cleanup duties. This is the kind of stuff we want to clean up. So watch this kick go back. Boom, there's the hit. And again, we've got a guy down. We need to have a flag on this. Okay, so what's our announcement over the 020 to the crew? Again, we've got a running play, because this is after the interception. Boom, there's the hit at the 33-yard line. The runner ends up going beyond it, so we know the end of the run is our basic spot, and this is a foul by the team in possession behind the basic spot. Therefore, we are going to force it from the spot of the foul, which would be position 4, 33-yard line. This is going to be a 15-yard foul. We would go from the 33, 23, 18-yard line. Position 4 is where they would be snapping the ball from after we enforce that illegal blindside block foul. We need to get these. We need to have flags down, especially when we got a blindside block and an injured player. Coaches don't like that. Understandably so. Okay, this is a really good play. Just, talking about penalty enforcement. When we have a foul by the defense, it's always a basic spot foul. There is no exception when, I shouldn't say the defense, when we have foul by the team not in possession, it is a basic spot foul. So we've got a horse collar tackle, and this is a good, 10 yards behind, 8 yards behind the line of scrimmage. So my comment here, all fouls by the team not in possession, in this case the defense, are enforced from the basic spot. So what's the basic spot for foul by the defense? That happens behind the previous spot, or if the ball becomes dead behind the previous spot. In that case, the basic spot is the previous spot. And since all fouls by the team in possession are enforced from the previous spot, in the basic spot, which is the previous spot, we would enforce this half the distance from the 28 to the 14. This is not an automatic first down, but in this case, it would result in a first down. Line to gain was a 14. Our foul would take us to the 14, and we would have this resulting in a first down. So referee or announcement in that case would be horse collar tackle, number 15 of the defense. Penalty would be half the distance to the goal, and it will result in a first down. Soon. Okay, next play. Forward progress hanging, no cheap turnovers. Thing will get worse and worse if you let this go. This can be kind of a quick one, but let's take a look here. So we've got a handoff, and we've got the defense stuffing this guy. So here's our guideline. We have forward progress is hanging right now because we have a defender who has contacted the runner. So if he drives him backwards, sideways, we have forward progress hanging at that point. As soon as the runner is controlled by more than one defender, just shut it down. By rule, forward progress is stopped. The play is dead, and he should be given progress at the point that he was first contacted. The problem is if you don't shut this down, they're going to rip the ball out, and now if you give them the ball, we got cheap turnover. Only bad things are happening. The next time it happens, more guys are going to get on him. They're going to throw him down to 5 or 6 guys. And then the next time, if you blow it dead when you should have the first time, give him progress. The other coach is going to lose his mind, and rightfully so, because you're not being consistent as a crew. So, by rule, forward progress is done. It's over. Give him the forward progress. Be consistent. Call this dead at this point. You'll be better as a crew. You'll be more consistent, and you'll follow the philosophy of no cheap turnovers. So we do not want this ball comes out so late. This play is over, and take care of this and blow this dead, and everything will be better. All right, this is Save the Crew one here. We had 2 of these. The other one was we had a runner who ended up, he did not get, in the other case, he landed on a player but had both knees down on the ground and then continued to get up and run for 70 yards, and we gave him the touchdown. Somebody needs to see it. Same thing here. Let's watch. We've got this defender. We do not have progress, obviously, here. He's just dragging this guy down. And right now, the defender ripped that ball out. I'm going slow motion here. The defender rips the ball out. He's got the ball. Progress is not stopped. The runner is not down. But now we have the defense with the ball in possession. His butt's on the ground. His knees on the ground. He gets up, and he runs this back for a touchdown. Again, save the crew. Okay? If we let this play out and we have a touchdown, worst case scenario, we get together as a crew, and someone's like, dude, he was 100% down. We got to put him down. We got to get this right. And then we get together and we make an announcement, either over the field mic if we have it, or just explain to the coaches and make an announcement saying after crew discussion. And what that does is it tells everyone that the crew got together and they just make sure they got this right. After crew discussion, the player who stripped the ball was down at that point. First down for whoever the team is who was on defense. But we just can't let this go. We've got to save the crew. Step up, save the crew, and let's not let something like that happen. All right, that's it. A little long maybe this week, but first one, but great plays, I think, and appreciate all your hard work going into it. Make sure you have great pre-games. Discuss these. Crews, coaches, officials watching other games, send in plays so we can have good ones to learn from. Great job this week. Keep it up, and we'll talk to you again next week.